Hey guys, what is up and welcome to my channel. It's a Hardback Life. My name is Jordan and today I'm going to be bringing you my wrap up. Now, I read a total of 4 books in February, which is a lot considering the month that I just had. So February was kind of a little bit of a frustrating month. Let's just say I had a mental setback. That's all I'm going to share with you. So yeah, there was a little bit of a mental setback due to some personal things happening in my life. And I also got sick, which is carried over into March. And, yeah, but I'm not as sick as I was. I just have some stuff in my throat that, let's just say, is making me cough still and whatever, and making me a little whatever. But, I am here, and also I just wanted to apologize for the inconsistencies of filming, especially in the last few months. I thank you to all of those of you who have stuck with me through this craziness. Anyway, that's not why we're here though. We are here to discuss my wrap-up. And like I said, I read 4 books in February, which is a lot for me considering, if you think of last year, I read 24 books last year because I would go in and out of a reading slump. And so far, I have not had a reading slump moment. I read 3 books in January, and then 4 books in February, and so far one of the books that I was reading in February carried over into the first day of March, and I finished that. So I've finished a total of 8 books so far this year, and so I'm definitely on track to completing my 25 book goal and more. And I say I set my goal to 25 books right now because I read 24 books last year. That's why I'm going to do it from now on, I think. Is I'm going to round it up or to a whole number or just like bump it up a number from the number of books that I finished the previous year. Anyway, you guys, though, let's get started, shall we? Okay. So I read 4 books, like I said, and I'm also going to share with you the book that I've already completed. Okay. The first book that I read in February was The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V. Schwab. You guys, oh my god, I loved this book. I gave this book 5 stars. And the reason why is because I'm someone who's only been reading V.E. Schwab since 2021. And I've read, this is her 4th book that I've read. I've read both Vicious and Vengeful, which is part of the Villains duology, which I found out is going to be a trilogy, and she's named the 3rd book Victorious, by the way, in case you're curious, and that's going to be coming out probably within the next couple of years. Excited. And then I've read A Darker Shade of Magic, and now this guy. And from those 4 books, I think this is my favorite. It's actually, no, maybe a close tie with Vicious. But I really enjoyed this one so much because this is different from anything she's written. For one thing, the writing is very whimsical and just very poetic. And she usually doesn't write like that. For those of you who don't know, Addie LaRue is about a girl named Addie LaRue who was living in the 17th century, and she is literally about to get married because in those times, women are expected to basically, get married and have babies and just, do that kind of thing. And she doesn't want that kind of life. She doesn't want to be tied down. So she literally runs away from her wedding, and she ends up making a deal with a devil-like character to basically live her life and live forever, essentially. And she gets her wish, but at the same time, she gets cursed. In exchange for living forever, she no longer can leave a mark on this world. Like, every time someone comes across her, they are going to forget her as soon as they walk out of the room and come back. So you know what I mean? Like, say they meet her and they see her, like, she introduces herself. But, like, she comes back, or they come back in the room after disappearing. They won't remember who she is. And she also cannot, because she cannot leave a mark on, in the world, she cannot say her name as well. And so we follow her life for 300 years. And there is also another character in the book that we meet that will remember her. That's not a spoiler. That's in the synopsis. And we find out why it is that our main character can remember her. And I love this book as well because V.E. Schwab doesn't tend to do romances in her novels. And there's a romance in here, and it's definitely, in my opinion, well done. And I just want to say, trigger warnings, there is a lot of depression moments in this book. And there is some violence, I believe. So be aware of that, because our main character sees some things and experiences some things. And our other main character experiences a lot of depression type moments, as well as our main character. So yeah, I definitely recommend this book, but I do have to say also it's very character driven. So if you're someone who enjoys a plot driven story, this is probably not the book for you. Alright, so also in the month of February was Blackathon. I did not do very well on following my TBR. That's probably mostly because I was sick and I just let my reading get away from me. But one of the books that I did read by a black author was actually a play. And like I told you guys, I want to encourage you guys to read more plays. This is called The Force Continuum by Kia Corthron. She is a African-American playwright. And this play is about 3 generations of cops. And they deal with a lot of different types of stuff in New York City. So here, let me read you the synopsis a little bit. The Force Continuum follows 3 generations of African-American New York City police officers. Centered around DC, a 24-year-old cop disillusioned and confused in the contemporary world of drug violence and brutality, whose struggles go beyond the routine paradox of being both black and a cop, when he and his white partner become indicted in the death of a black female civilian. Then there are DC's deceased parents, a practical, optimistic mother and father, frustrated by racism within the ranks of the force. Finally, we learn of DC's grandfather, a man whose experience has instilled within him the awareness that there is a way out of the carnage and distrust between African American and police communities. Force Continuum is a jagged, precarious journey whereby all gradually grasp that understanding comes not just through seeing others, but hearing. Sorry, I had to read you the whole thing because it's very prevalent. Anyway, this was fantastic. I definitely recommend this play and recommend this playwright. And this is one play that I definitely think you guys should read. It is very beneficial, especially with current issues we are dealing with today with African Americans in the police force and just what it is to be a cop or African Americans in general and how we can bridge that gap. So the third book I read for the month of February was Red, White, and Royal Blue. Oh my gosh, you guys. I loved this book. Oh my gosh. It is about our main characters. Alex Claremont Diaz, who is the first son of the United States, and Henry, who is the Prince of England. They basically have like a slow burn build of a relationship. First, they start off basically, it's like enemies to lovers trope that's been being used here. And it starts off really crazy by a little incident that happens. And then it builds from there. The friendship and then like eventually relationship, like love, romantic between Henry and Alex. And it is funnier than crap as well. I will say, obviously, because the first son of the United States and the Prince of England, there are heavy politics in this book, but they're actually very interesting. And there's also quite a bit of smut, so that's a warning for you, for those of you who plan on reading this. But I gave this book 5 stars. I thoroughly enjoyed it. The characters were fun to read about. And also, there's a lot of serious moments that I absolutely loved. And a lot of human moments in this book. And I loved it. I loved this book. So I definitely recommend this one. And I read it because February is Valentine's Day, so why not? The next book I randomly picked up at Target, and I need to get the rest of the volumes. Heartstopper by Alice Oseman. This is my first graphic novel, like at least for sure first graphic novel. At least I'm reading, and I definitely have to read more of these. I absolutely adored this. This is about our main characters, Charlie and I forget the name of the other. Nick. Charlie and Nick. As they are building a friendship and eventually fall for each other. And oh man, this was great. I enjoyed it so much. And I definitely want to get the other 3 volumes that are out. I think there's 4 that are out in total. And I'm definitely going to look at more graphic novels in the future. So that was the last of the 4 books that I read for this, for February. And I'm also going to mention the book that I read in February that I ended up finishing at the very beginning of March, because this book meant so much to me and kind of is going to help me in the future, because it was a self-help book on mental health. Okay, so the first book I read in March was Checking In by Michelle Williams. How Getting Real About Depression Saved My Life and Can Save Yours. You might recognize this face. Michelle Williams is and was a member of the popular girl group Destiny's Child, one of my favorite girl groups of all time. I absolutely loved this book. She talks about her struggles when it comes to depression and anxiety and the tools that she used of, getting, well, not necessarily, getting out of it and just like realizing that she has a problem. And she's not a doctor, mind you, so she doesn't give you like meds. She doesn't like talk about meds to prescribe you. That's one thing that drove me nuts on Goodreads that I saw is like there are some people who commented like, why didn't she recommend any meds and stuff like that? It's because she's not a licensed doctor or therapist, so she cannot prescribe you any of that. She just was telling you her experiences and giving some really sound advice. And one of the things the book is called Checking In. So it's something that encourages us to ask ourselves really hard questions, like checking in with ourselves. And not just checking in with ourselves, but checking in with other people. And when you're checking in with not just yourself, but other people that like are within your circle that you can trust, and that you have built relationships with, then you can also start to build a process of healing because you'll have that accountability. And there's a lot of things that I took out of here. And plus, like I said, Michelle Williams gets really deep and raw. So this is another, obviously, depression, anxiety is another trigger warning for this book. If you read it, I definitely recommend it. There are some, obviously, religious things that she says in here because she's a very heavy on her, like, Christian beliefs. But if you're not very religious, I don't think that should matter for this book because she relates to all kinds of people in this book. And it's just a great book. And is definitely going to help me in my, like, battle of depression going forward. I'm going to apply some of these tools and just also really get some help myself because, I've just acknowledged over the last year or so that I have anxiety and depression, and I need to like get some help myself. So that's me being real with y'all. And anyway, you guys, that was my wrap up. I would appreciate if you guys give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. That would mean so much to me. Just keep you guys up to date on when I'm posting more content. I will give you guys my TBR hopefully within the next day or two. Definitely within the next day or two. And then some more fun stuff is going to be coming your way. I might do another reading vlog. My last reading vlog was my Vicious reading vlog for when I read V.E. Schwab's Vicious. So we might get another reading vlog. We'll see. Let me know what you guys think in the comments about that. Anyway, you guys, I shall see you later. Bye.